Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Black Codes. I am Trevor Glenn, one piece of the Black Codes puzzle. Today we have a very special guest with us. She is a graduate of TSU, the HBCU one and only, with a, let me make sure she has a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and currently on the PhD path. How much time we got? How much?
I just started.
Okay. Currently
Yeah.
working on her PhD.
I wish.
The one and only Cassandra Brown, aka Tech Beauty. Welcome to the show. Thank you for stopping
Hi.
by.
No problem. Hi, Trevor. Hi, everybody.
How you doing? How you doing? Um,
I'm good.
we I think one of the major things is especially that I was curious about as far as you getting into tech, because I think you're the second TSU graduate that we interviewed. We did I did a segment with Kanisha and she talked about her
Yeah.
experience there. But what I really admired about your story as well was your continued path of learning on the college track. And so I was
Yeah.
very intrigued and very interested in that as well. And so if you
Yeah.
could kind of tell us about like one, how'd you get interested in tech at what point in your life that you kind of decide like, hey, this is the path I think I want to go down. And then two, well, tell us a little bit about your journey from
Okay. Feels like I gotta write those questions down. But
there.
okay. So the first thing first is how I got into tech. I would
Mhm,
just go back to maybe like high school.
mhm,
Even when I was younger, up until the point where I got introduced to like keyboarding class, and I just felt like it was like the most popular class in America. Like if you're not in keyboarding, like you ain't doing nothing with your life. Like what is PE? Like you need to be in keyboard and learning how to type and getting
mhm,
introduced to your email and stuff like that. So for me, when I was little, I would like tinker with computers. Um, my aunt bought me a computer when I was younger, so I shared it with like my two other cousin siblings or whatever the case may be. You know how you have that family where you have
right,
cousins that's like
right.
sisters. So
The shared
um
resources.
yeah, exactly. So so with that, I got introduced to like my very first computer, but I would see it at school. But I just somehow was just curious always, like even as like a student in school, I was just curious to learn more, and do more, and just curious to know what things are. Coming from my background, like I grew up in the hood, so we weren't really exposed to technology and computers and stuff like that. So when we see like something that we've never had like
Mhm.
experience with, it's like, oh, it's time for me to jump on this opportunity now while I have it. So it's like, okay, how can I get in keyboarding class?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
love that.
so exactly. So like with me, I ended up experiencing like my very first blue screen of death when I was like maybe, I think it's the blue screen of death or whatever it's called, but like I was like maybe 12, 13 when that happened, and I was like, our computer's broke. And my aunt sent it to get fixed, and I never saw it again. So like I was like separated from the one thing that I actually liked in life, was like the
Yeah.
computer. So I would like get my experience and exposure from like my cousin's house. Like, I'm going over there, can I get on your computer? Can I like check my email? I didn't even do anything but go on nick.com and play like SpongeBob games and Jimmy Neutron
Damn.
game, and yeah, I used to do all that stuff. um but then once I got like out of maybe going into high school, 12th grade, graduating from there, I kind of got like peer pressure to go to TSU because I got accepted to Alcorn, I got accepted to MTSU, and I got accepted to TSU. But I had a friend, you know how that happens, that peer pressure is real.
Mhm.
So I ended up at TSU, and my ultimate goal in like, I wouldn't say in life period, but like overall, I was like, okay, I want to be a computer scientist or computer technologist. I mean, just computer technologist is what I saw on the paper. You
Yeah.
know how we have to take that survey And it's like, this is what you're gonna be. I'm like, oh, a computer technologist,
Yeah.
whatever that is, but it got computer in it, so I'm gonna do it. So I get to college and I'm like, computer science?
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do. Like that, it doesn't have nothing to do with like technology, but I didn't know the differences. Like I didn't know it was literally the same thing.
Yeah.
So I got into computer science. And in undergrad, it was just like, it was a whole story, honestly, because like I wasn't as focused as I was when I got my master's, and now that I'm going towards my PhD and going down that lane. So it was like I, did my best and I came out, but I didn't come out on top, but
Mhm.
I came out close to it.
Yeah.
So got into my first programming class. It was by a foreign teacher, really didn't understand what was going on. So it was like between me not understanding what's going on and me not understanding my teacher. So that language barrier was like a struggle for me.
Yeah.
So I didn't have internships. Like I wasn't like that student. Like I didn't really do anything because I had distractions.
Yeah.
So like distractions will really bring you down. Like,
Yes,
and
they
that was a
will.
big that was a big lesson for me. So I used kind of like after undergrad, I actually got like a job at Accenture for a couple for like, this is not me advertising this company. um, but yeah, so I got a job for like a couple months, like maybe 6, 8 months or so with them, because I just got bored. Like I didn't like the culture. I was like doing the same thing every day, and I was like, I can't be creative. I can't like, my team is like 2 people and somebody that's all the way in Nova Scotia somewhere. It's like, yeah, I don't see these people all every day. So I just kind of got tired of the repetition. So
Yeah.
it kind of like stressed me out. Like,
Yeah.
who wants to go to work? Like, on your way to work, you stressed. Like,
Yeah.
what? That
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
And as
So,
developers, you have that creative aspect as well as far as constantly wanting to be challenged. And you
yeah,
know, like I know everybody knows when like this isn't growing me anymore. This isn't stressing me anymore. This isn't stretching me anymore as far as like
right.
improving at least. Because one thing that stood out about your story is like the goal, like the goal as far
Yeah,
as like setting like computer technologies. Like even though I don't know what it is, like I've been exposed to that phrase, and so now I can look it up. I can see what that
right,
looks like for other people. I can craft my own definition of that, and I can go for
right.
it. And like even when you say distraction, because distractions gonna come, like they're gonna come.
Yeah,
But I think the best part, what I really like about your story is understanding what was taken. You had a clear understanding of what a distraction was versus what it wasn't. Like this is getting me closer to my goal. I recognize this is not getting me closer to my goal, but like, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Making the difference between distinguishing the difference between the two, is a key step, a key step. So I like
Yeah. Yeah, because like you have to turn your distractions into lessons just like you do with everything else. Because
that.
sometimes your distractions will put you in a situation where you lose your focus,
Hmm.
and then you're caught up in something that's not really where you want to be, or it doesn't really represent you, but then you're just stuck in it for that time being. But
Yeah,
once you wake up and once you get tired of like your current situation, you'll realize that, oh, I lost focus and I need to get back on track. And that's kind of how I did.
yeah.
I just realized what my passion was. My passion is technology, but my passion is also education. So
Yeah.
my passion is education, technology, and knowledge sharing. So
Mhm.
it's like me sharing all the knowledge that I have and helping people to grow and develop in the tech industry, mentoring, role model, all of these fancy things they call me.
Yeah,
Just being the positive labels that people put on me. It's kind of pressure for me because it's like it's a lot of people that's looking up to me. Like I really do this for y'all. And that's what I tell my mentees all the time. Like I do this for y'all, but I do it for me too. And you have to realize that you do things for yourself as well.
yeah,
So yeah, after undergrad, after that job, I was like, yeah, Jesus, what I'm gonna do? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get my master's.
Yeah.
So I ended up magically getting into the program. Like I had a low GPA for undergrad, so I got a good little blessing for my master's. I kind of had to get financial aid for like my first semester, and then the rest of it was paid for.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
through
shout out to the financial aid.
exact,
Hey, call-
look, don't make me get up in this video and shout now. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I
I was
got
gonna ask
all
this.
that taken care of.
Oh, sorry. Go
Hmm.
ahead.
No, you're fine.
I was gonna ask as far as people on the way, during that journey. Man, I'm really big on mentors, or at least like positive role models myself. I think that's one of the things that helped me kind of find my purpose and passion as well.
Hmm.
What did that look like at TSU for you, as far as like people that kind of stood in your corner?
For me, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was a struggle, but I would look up to the upperclassmen.
Mm,
For me, especially in engineering and in CS, you have to look at the people that's in the positions that you want to be.
yeah.
Like even the top students, the really smart kids, the really special kids, the funny kids, that's smart. Like you still have to have something to look up to. So for me, I would hang out with the upperclassmen, people that's juniors and seniors, and graduating season seniors, rising seniors. We have all that at TSU. So I will look up to them and hang out with them, work on homework with them, ask them questions, like be their friend, like build a relationship with them, because they're going somewhere after this. Just the ones that's going somewhere now. The ones that's going to be a security guard at the mall. look, look, steer clear, please steer clear of them. But the ones that actually have goals, and those that are like actually taking their school career seriously, that's who you look up to, as well as developing relationships with your professors and your teachers. Like in my department, I'm a teacher now. Like I'm a professor in my department. So all of the faculty knows me because
Yeah.
they've seen me grow from like a freshman all the way up into Mrs. Brown.
Yeah. That's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope.
So it's wild because I have a relationship with, well, we have new faculty, but like literally the department head, the dean of engineering, like I have all of those people in my network. So it's like, wow, I really accomplished something. And that just comes from me looking up to the people that was ahead of me, the people that was in front of me. Cause I get told all the time by the department head, he's like, one day Cassandra's going to be the department head of computer science. And I'm like, maybe. I'm like, I don't think that was in my, I don't think I wrote that on my list of goals. But hey, if the
Yeah.
opportunity presents itself, we will be for sure what's the name of that school? MIT?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be at MIT most definitely.
I would, and I wanted to talk about that because especially you have a unique perspective of being on both sides as a educator and also as a student within this institution. And so I'm sure there's probably things that you've seen. And we talk about HBCUs as far as like needing more resources to be on the frontier of a lot of the things that are happening in the tech space. From what you have seen, um, I guess really I would be curious of your perspective of like what you like about the HBCU experience when it comes to tech, and then what would you like to see happen in the future, like as far as what you imagine HBCUs could be.
Okay, so as far as tech, let's see, that's really good question. I have like many things going on. So for me, for me, I've seen a lot. I've seen students, especially our students, like in Kanisha's interview, she said they've gone to Google, they've gone to Lockheed's,
Yeah,
weren't like companies like that. I know TSU CS department in engineering, but I know specifically the CS department, we
yeah,
have those relationships with those companies. So
yeah,
we've built strong relationships with Google. We have professors that come in and teach our students. Like, I wouldn't say how to be Google programmers, but literally they teach them how to be Google programmers so that they be able to compete for those jobs. so
Right.
that they could be able to get those internships. We've had students go to get those internships, get jobs, go to Facebook, even go to like whatever type of tech company they want because they have that training. So it's like, I mean, our students work hard, not all of them, but those students, like I said, that want it really badly and they're passionate about it,
Yeah.
they work really hard and they try their best to understand the subject matter because computer science is hard. And I tell them that all the time, even freshmen, I'm like, look, it's hard, but if it's something that you really want, you're going to stick with it. And I
Absolutely.
also tell them that it's fun. Computer science is fun. Technology is fun. We have so many different areas to be in. Like we can be in hospitals, we can be in nursing homes, we can be in schools, we can be everywhere, literally. We
Hmm.
don't necessarily have to be in a big tech company, but if that's what your end goal is, then you have to really work hard for it.
Yeah.
And one thing, what was the next question? Let me
Oh,
think.
as far as like seeing the future, like what, where do you see? I guess either where do you see the HBCU going as far as when it comes to the tech program, or what do you imagine it could be? What would you like to
Okay.
see?
Ooh, I would like to see a lot, honestly. Um, of course, funding is always at the top of every HBCU's list.
Yep.
Funding and resources. Um, and that comes from leadership. To be
Mhm.
honest with me, to be honest, I said to be honest with me, Lord. To be honest with you, in my opinion, it comes from leadership. Because some leaders, they focus only on one specific area of a university, but some departments really bring in majority of the funding to the school.
Mm,
So it's like if if this department is bringing in all these funds, but they're lacking in resources, how can we better that? How can we
right.
make sure they have the resources that they need? How can we make sure that we produce this amount of students and we, cut back on our retention rates?
Yeah.
How can we provide that instead of like, of course, you need to focus on the overall scale of things, but if your like money maker is struggling, I
You gotta address that.
mean,
You gotta address that.
exactly, exactly. Just like they're trying to count these votes. But anyway,
Yeah.
like it's like if your money maker is struggling, why won't you put forth an effort to kind of like hold off, or not even hold off, but just slow down on what you're pushing so hard and come back and uplift what really was bringing the majority of the students and funds and whatnot to your university. Um, I think the overall experience of a HBCU is always great. Students
Mhm.
always have a good time, and no matter what your discipline is. But for the tech space, I mean, funding is always the top of the list, and creating those partnerships with like companies that's even outside of the scope of technology, and just introducing those companies to technology. Shoot, we can be with the Bitcoin people. That's technology, but
Yeah.
we don't have that partnership with them. We're not doing like we don't have grants coming in that's like, oh, who's gonna do Bitcoin or cryptocurrency research? And then those companies bring in that those resources. Like we just don't have that. So it's just like funding is always my number one issue, but making sure the kids get exposure as well and training is always top for me. Um, and bringing in a younger crowd. I mean, bringing in more younger teachers and trying to like help split that language barrier
Mm,
so you can speak their language. Like programming is already a different language that we got to
right.
understand and learn how to understand and read. So it's just different. It's just difficult to have teachers whose first languages aren't necessarily English to be teaching programming.
Yeah.
It's okay like to teach other classes, but like if you have a programming based course, then students won't understand. Of course, they need to do their own outside research because that's just how computer science is.
Yeah.
But they need to understand literally the things, even the smallest things. They need to understand that. Not necessarily forgetting the semicolon, but like you really need to understand how a for loop works, how a
Right.
double for loop works.
Right.
Like they don't understand that because it's skipped over. Because sometimes even the professors, from a professor standpoint, or a teacher or adjunct standpoint, it's like sometimes they don't even understand it.
Yeah.
So it's a learning process for everybody. And lastly, I would just say just keeping ourselves up to date on the current tech trends. Like tech
Ooh.
evolves every day.
Yep. Rapidly. Like I would
Yeah,
I would shout like almost I would say more than any other industry. Like as far as its evolution and the constant change of it. And I think with the evolution of tech, like other that brings other industries along as far as their
yeah,
evolution as well. And so it's not for the faint of heart. Like
not at all. Not at all. I mean, it changes. Like I have a million ideas, like literally a million ideas, and probably in a day. And
hmm
tomorrow I can have a million different ideas of what
hmm
to do about something in tech. So it's like just keeping ourselves up to date. And I learned that from my department head. He was like, if you're going to be in computer science, you have to keep yourself up to date. You can't never lag behind. And it's going to get harder because the technology is getting more sophisticated and complex. So it's
Yeah.
like your mind has to be trained like that. Like as technology gets more complex, the complexity of your thinking has to change. Maybe I should write a book.
Yeah. Look. Come on, Professor.
Look, I'm
Come on,
gonna write a
Professor.
book. Technology and complexity thinking. That's the title.
I
I'm
like
just
that.
joking.
I like that.
It
Um,
might be. You never know.
you said now I wanted to because I've been doing instructing. Like I started instructing this year, and that was a ride because it gives me perspective on all you educators out there, as far as really like the multitude of levels that come in when it comes to your student, as well when it comes to your students in your class, and not everybody comes in at the same level. But I think, and I wanted to ask this of you, like especially when someone comes in to the computer science program and they have no previous knowledge whatsoever. Like they hit you up like, Cassandra, I haven't even taken a typing course like before this.
See?
Like, what do you tell them? But they was like, I seen it on TV. I really think I want to go for this. Like,
Yeah.
what advice do you give them?
I'm gonna be very honest. So the first thing first is like, why are you even in computer science if you
hmm
can't type? That's
Ooh, that's a
like
good one.
like I just asked that like off the rip. Like, why are you studying computer science if you don't have those skills? Like, why
hmm
if you can't type? So maybe they're taking like a typing class on the side, which is understandable. So they're getting that exposure, they're getting that training, which is perfect in my book.
Yeah.
But it's like for me, certain students or certain people see that dollar sign and they see them figures
hmm
and they're like, oh, I'm about to get into technology. I'm about to get into computer science. And then they get into computer science and it don't even start you up unless you like popping, unless
Right.
that brain is beyond complex. You may get that six figures or close to a 95,000 ish. Like we've had students that have been offered that
Yeah.
and they're at IBM type of
Yeah.
thing. So it's like that's my first question is like, why are you studying computer science? But for students that are lacking behind, my advice and what I take for me personally, because I've been like that
hmm
before, I've been that student. Like everybody just has been that student, unless you was like taking coding in middle school, unless you was taking coding in high school, unless your parents sent you to like a coding camp or something, if
Yeah.
those existed back when. I'm sure they exist now, like STEM camps exist now. But
hmm
like, unless you did that, then of course you're gonna struggle. But my thing is to be patient with students. You have to always be patient because
Oh, yeah.
everybody's not on the same level. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
to some students you have to give that extra time to, but you also have to encourage them.
Yeah.
Like for me, I always this is what I say to my students all the time. And if you was to say this to some of my students, they would have been like, Ms. Brown must told you. So I say at the at the end of every class, I'm like, any questions, any frustrations, I forgot what the other one was. Any questions, concerns, or frustrations.
Yeah.
Like, just let me know what's going on. And some of them are shy, but they will come to my office. Like, I've been in my office for engineering programming with engineering students, writing on the whiteboard, going through for loops, going through if statements, because they needed that extra push, that extra help, and they did good on tests. So it's more so like encouragement, patience, and just making sure you're their number one supporter because you are their teacher. Some teachers are teachers just to be teachers, but you really have to be a mentor. You really sometimes have to be a therapist. Sometimes students go through a lot. But for the ones that's struggling, you most definitely have to be patient with them, because you could have somebody that's like in their 40s and 50s come in your class in computer science, and you know for a fact when they grew up, they were on Fortran, they were learning COBOL, like it wasn't no Java, Python, C++, like it wasn't none of that. So you have to be patient with them, with
Yeah.
understanding um, what's going on, because computer science is hard once again.
Man, oh my goodness. And I think you, it hit me when you said it, as far as like one of the key takeaways of a good educator, and it's patience. And
Yeah,
that's such a staple in my life, because when I think about the times that I was failing or not um, really getting understanding a subject matter, and those who took me aside and literally took the time to like teach me, it was always like, hey, I have time, I'll make time for you, so we can get this, so you can understand this, so we can learn this, and so you can get better at it. Because you're absolutely right, everyone's not going to come in on the same scale, and I think that is so crucial to understand. And I think that's what benefited me when I first started teaching. I was like, no matter what, because like I went the self-taught route. Like I am a product of multiple failures, and I say that with pride because it helped me
yeah,
understand um, development on a deeper level. Even today, like I
right.
understand, like I'm gonna go into it, I'm gonna mess this up. We're gonna, man, every job that I've been to tech wise, I've learned the most. When we've broken something from the client, like destroy the
Yeah.
database, like you ask it, I name it. I was like, hey, like I can't ping this server. It's like, hey, try to do a little trace routing. I was like, no, it ain't. We ain't getting there. Like, what do I do? And it's like, okay, let's get to
Yeah,
work. This is where the learning starts. And it's cool if you like. You're a superstar if you're able to get it off the bat. I'm gonna cheer for you. I'm gonna root for you. But those
right.
who like, my expectation is for you to struggle, like for you to struggle, because that's when the real, I feel like that's when the real progress happens. And so I
Yeah,
patiently wait for it. I patiently wait for it, and I will be there for
yeah,
you, when you fall, to help you back up.
right. Yeah, so I'll say one thing for the superstars. Like for my superstar kids, I know that they're going to excel. So
Mm,
it's like you already know what's going on. You already know the answers to the homework. You're not really going to need me as much as these other students who are struggling.
mm,
So I trust you to be independent,
mm.
and even I push you to help another student. So the each one teach one, like each one of you guys, somebody don't know something, but someone in this class knows it. So if you know it, tell somebody, share it. Like it's not cheating unless
Yeah.
everybody works looks the same. But now if everything looks the same, you to change just one, two
Yeah,
variables.
we didn't raise some eyebrows.
Exactly. I'm gonna look at you out of my
We're helping them
glasses.
too much. Like, come on now.
Exactly. Like why does everybody, like I've done that, like I've had a test where everybody's number 13 is exactly the same, and they didn't cheat, they just all got it off Google.
Mm, yep,
And
yep.
it's like y'all can't for one finesse a finesser. It's like I've been a student, so I've
Yeah.
done literally all of the stuff
Oh,
y'all
it's
have
tough.
done.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really hard to get things past me because I've already did this. I've been on Google copy and pasting answers to homeworks and
Mm-hmm.
putting on my homework and submitting it. I've already seen it, so you can't really get anything past me
Just look in the
unless you.
dark. Oh, this
That's me for real. Like I was just looking, I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like, no, this class is hard. Of course, computer science is hard once again. But if you come to me and ask for help, and I see that you're struggling, and even if you're improving the slightest bit, you still will pass the class.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not about A, B's, and C's. It's about understanding what you're doing and making sure you understand that, and being able to reiterate and share that information with another student. So that's why I kind of push them to like help each other, so you can help your peer develop an understanding, and they can help you develop an understanding, and then you guys are great. You're brilliant. Now
Right.
you got a little bit of Miss Brown in you.
We helping each other. Oh, and then they pass that on. Like,
Exactly.
so look, now
Exactly.
you generating them students that'll become teachers behind you, some more adjunct professors, like just pulling up on you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Doing their best. That's all that matters.
I think that's really awesome. I think I'm glad that you said, like, as far as giving your opinions on where the program should go. I think the of course, in the Black Code, like our focus is community and building as many of those as possible. And even within like a TSU, of course, y'all are long-standing
Yeah.
established community when it comes to education. But you
Yeah.
want to be able to influence and encourage and inspire those who come behind you to,
Yeah.
to follow in the footsteps and create their own paths as well. Um,
Right.
yeah, that being said, I know you out here, your Instagram game is
I'm
popping.
doing my best on Instagram. I'm just doing
Look,
my
and
best.
I know you like you got multiple things, especially like with keeping up with research, but also incorporating that in your life. I'm always glad to see people in the STEM and tech fields like putting their life out there for others to observe,
Yeah.
to give them an idea of like this is what I can expect. Because and especially with the Black experience, like with the Black
Yeah.
learning experience, we don't get enough of that. We don't see enough of that.
Yeah.
And so like of course, kudos
Yeah.
first and foremost.
So
Like,
yeah, so for me, so on my YouTube channel, like my tech beauty brand is
mhm,
tech education and lifestyle.
mhm,
So of course the tech piece is there, the education piece is there, research and all the stuff I do with tech. Lifestyle, it's just
mhm,
me living my life, like throwing a little bit of technology in there, but that's the tech piece.
mhm.
So it's like I have tech, I have education, I have lifestyle because I have to live. I don't want to be like just I would love to be stuck behind my computer all day, but I mean that self-care and
Yeah,
that mindfulness is needed.
absolutely.
So that's why you I said y'all like I'm talking to a whole audience. But
Hey, it's your people. It's your
yeah,
people.
that's
Yeah.
why I mean that's why they see me like I'm probably singing an R&B song on my Instagram. You never know.
Yup.
I'm worse on Snapchat. So I'll be at my work session singing Mary J. Blige or something.
And we
Little,
loving every
I'll be
minute of
singing Babyface. You never know.
we
I would be
loving
singing
every
all kinds
minute.
of stuff, but it's just like sometimes you have to. It's a positive distraction. Like even if I'm facing a problem, like right now, I'm working towards like being more. Even the younger girls that I'm seeing that like I know I follow a couple of them. I
Mhm.
forgot their names. Oh, I think her. Let me check my phone.
Yeah.
Sorry, recording. But let me
No,
check.
pull it up.
I
Like
mean,
you
we're
shout it
I
out.
mean we're in tech, so I can do this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me shout her out really quickly because like we just randomly started talking on Instagram, and I was like I really enjoyed talking to her. I was like, I love her. Like we need to be in the gym together or something. Like I need tech female friends.
Yeah.
Like all my friends are like, I have a friend that's a therapist. I have a friend who's engineering, but he's not like in tech. But shout out to my best friend. But anyway, let me find this girl's name. 1 second. Oh my gosh, where is she? Oh my gosh. And she's gonna be mad that I forgot her name. But what is
she,
her name?
she gonna
Well,
pop up
now I
really
don't
soon.
see it. I think it's B Codes.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that's her name.
I
Yeah,
follow
Bethany.
because
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Bethany. Shout out to Bethany, girl. Sorry, I forgot your name, sis.
No, it's
But yeah,
I think I followed her. I followed her a few weeks ago.
yeah,
And she had reached
she's
out to us.
living.
Yeah, she dope. She dope because I think she had
She's
just
a
moved here.
mom and everything.
Oh
She
yeah,
just moved.
y'all got.
She's yes.
I'll show all aspects of this tech life. All aspects.
Exactly. She's a mom. She still codes. She works
Mhm.
out. Like she has that tech. that education, and she's self-learning, so she's self-teaching herself
Yeah.
these things. So I'm like, all right then, girl, go ahead then, sis. That's me. I'm like rooting her on. Let's go. And it's another young lady, but I forgot, so I'm not gonna mention it. Make sure
Yeah.
this get cut.
We go we gonna have them. For everybody watching, we're gonna have them in the descriptions below. If you want to follow him. Kenny will do that.
Cool.
Usually he's a whiz with production. Um,
I see that's how I randomly popped up on y'all's Instagram that last video. I was like, I know they're not about to say my name.
yes, we are. Yes, we are. Look, because you
I was
guys,
like,
y'all make it happen. Y'all are out here changing the culture when it comes to Black faces in tech, when it comes to community. And that's all we want to do. We want to highlight and
yeah,
continue to uplift, because really that's where the inspiration comes from, and
yeah,
Black boys and little Black girls see it, and it was like, hey, I want to go to TSU, so Cassandra
yeah,
can teach me, and like I will become a great computer scientist, a computer
yeah,
technologist. So yeah, no, we appreciate
yeah.
you jumping on, and we will continue to say we appreciate you because we do, we truly
Thank
do.
you.
Um,
And
now I
thanks
was
for
gonna
having me, guys.
yeah, absolutely. Now this is the portion where I do all the shout outs and stuff, and I'm gonna forget somebody. I'm gonna start writing these down.
Uh-oh.
Look, first and foremost, everybody, happy New Year. Since the last time we recorded, it's been the break. I give a special shout out. Usually the try and wear Black on brand as far as the company. Today I have We Buy Black. I
I
did a lot of my
see.
Christmas shopping with them. And
Oh,
really, I just
wow.
do a lot of my basic shopping. Like I order everything from True product detergent to Garner's Garden mouthwash and toothpaste. They have everything you need, and so I really try and make it a habit to support Black owned as often as you can when you can.
Where's my pen
Um,
at?
Secondly, a shout out again to our HBCUs for putting out quality products and inspiring people to continue down the path of STEM. They are definitely involved in STEM programs. TSU, I've heard great things about them. Obviously, Cassandra is a part of the program, like, and you heard it from her as well. Like, their Google is hiring from them, IBM is hiring from them, Lockheed and Martin. So these are major players in the tech industry that have eyeballs on this HBCU college. So support HBCUs is what I'm getting
Yes.
at. Make sure y'all
Right. We
fund
got
them.
banks too now. We got banks if you're in banking.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What are some of the you said banking as well?
Yeah, we have partnerships with Bank of America and we have a partnership with Fifth Third.
Oh, dope. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
TSU
So
is doing this thing.
can we just go? Can we like just go through the? Well, I'll get with you later on.
I was like, I don't have a list, Trevor. I don't got a list.
Yeah, that's my fault. All right. Also, let the people know where and how they can find you, and how to show their support.
You guys can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter. Everything is Tech Beauty. Just
Everything is
TECHBEAUTI. No Y. Just an I. Just
yes,
an I. Tech
and you can
Beauty.
tech beauty, and that's lifestyle, education, and
Yeah. Tech education and lifestyle.
tech education and lifestyle. Hey, I
Yeah.
love it. And of course, you can always find us at on Instagram at the Black Codes org. On YouTube, you can in the little search box, you can type in the Black Codes space LLC, and it should pop up. You should be able to type the Black Codes, and that'll pop up as well. Um, Facebook, you can type in the Black Codes. Twitter, you can type in the Black Codes. I think there might be some underscores in there. Look,
Like if
Kenny
you
gonna
don't see
kill
it on
me.
the normal way, you
Kenny
don't see
gonna
it the
kill
first
me.
time, put it underscore. Just put an
Right,
underscore.
right. Until you see it, the logo is gonna be a coffee mug. You'll know us when you see us. My face will be on there. Cassandra's face will be on there soon. She's gonna be
I will be more active in the Black Codes. I need to
man,
get my
you've
life
already
together.
done so much by contributing to the community. Then I know you've been on some of our wind down sessions. Look, spitting game. I definitely remember that.
Mhm.
Where, of course, the time that we're in, we make use of the virtual space.
Yeah.
So we'll have more events coming up. Black History Month coming next month. We're gonna have our Black History Hackathon. So if you haven't, go to the Instagram page, and I think the link is in our link tree to sign up from there. If not, you can just DM me. My name is Trevor Glenn on Instagram. I'm under Trev of Ev, and it's underscores between. Kenny, please help me out. Like if you could post
You
it
and the
on the page. And that'll be all. Until then, everybody, stick to the code. Continue to be safe out here, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
peace.
Yeah.